would be more scared to pay Sam. I'm kind of shocked that the Seahawks moved on from Geno Smith to Sam Darnold. How do you feel about that?
No, I absolutely agree, and I think it's smart here to transition to talking about the Seahawks as a collective, because signing Sam Darnold was not the first move they did, or sorry, it wasn't the last move they did. So to recap, sign Sam Darnold big money, trade away DK Metcalf to Pittsburgh, cut Tyler Lockett. I just don't see why you would weaken Sam Darnold's ability. I think we all know Sam Darnold is a quarterback that has a cap or a ceiling, or like we know where he is, right? We know like this is the best he can be. I have a hard time thinking Sam Darnold's got better years than last year in his back. And you weaken the support system around him, because if you think about Minnesota, what they have want a good O-line, run game, pass game, offensive guru at coach. And to go to the Seahawks, where I think we've been saying it for 10 years now, their O-line sucks. Haven't fixed that problem.
Right.
And I think that speaks to the organization as a whole. You can't fix a problem for 10 years.
Yeah.
Especially an O-line problem. It's not the quarterback. That's trickier than the O-line, right? But it's just the fact you've never been able to do that. Jackson Smith and Jigba's there. I know they have Jake Bobo. They have some fun guys, but overall, I'm not a big fan of this move. I know it doesn't tie you up forever, right?
Yeah.
And I think it kind of just made me think, why didn't you just restart the rebuild last year? You would have got more for DK. You got what, a round 2 pick for DK? Big deal.
Yeah.
Geno Smith's what, a 5th or 6th round pick? That's not really going to help you.
That's the problem I have, Max, is why didn't we do this?
It was a year late.
Yeah, a year late.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm going to love watching George Pickens and DK crash out when Russell or whoever's throwing the ball doesn't throw it to him. But for Seahawks, they've done some things on the defensive side that excite me. And I'm like, okay, that's Mike McDonald, right? Like, go get some big bodies, DeMarcus Lawrence. I get it. Again, but the quarterback thing, Sam Darnold, like, to me, it could be a big regression next year. And it's kind of like, well, that's what happened. And it's not necessarily all on him. It's kind of, well, you weakened everything around him.
Yeah.
Right? Like, who scares you? Who scares you on that team?
It's really just Jackson Smith and Jigba. You know, I think it's confirmed last year when DK got hurt and wasn't playing well. Jackson Smith and Jigba really did pop out. I remember the list that we were doing. I forgot what list it was. As far buy or sell.
It was a buy sell. Well, I'll say this one: you have to account for one thing. DK Metcalf's one of the few NFL players that contains a gravity field, and what I mean by that is when teams go against a guy like that. Same thing with Tyreek Hill in his prime. It's like we kind of have to play a certain type of way where we have to, like, it lessens the load for everybody else. If that makes sense, would you not agree?
Yeah.
Like just even him being out there, you're like, oh, it just made life a little easier for
Steph
everybody.
Curry
Now
effect.
it's like, yeah, he's got the Steph Curry effect, you know, and that's a rare thing in today's NFL. That's why when you have to sign a guy to a $30 million contract, you still get a high pick.
Yeah.
A somewhat high pick.
But I think what they expected from Jackson Smith, they finally seen it. You know, he broke out and he proved.
And I'm sure they were tired of DK. Like, okay.
Yeah. And
I
part of this.
I heard this one who, you know, has the most personal foul penalties for a receiver since DK Metcalf got, you know, got second most?
George Pickens.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah,
I can't wait.
Start fighting.
They need to come out to NBA young boys straight up out of the locker room. It'll be a great sight.
Yeah, 100%. So sorry, continue. I cut you off. Go ahead.
No, you're good. I think the second thing why this makes so much sense, if you want to look at it deeper, it's low-key cleaning house as far as this Pete Carroll thing. A lot of these guys were Pete Carroll's guys. You know, Tyler Lockett, he's been there forever with Pete Carroll. DK Metcalf,
he been talked
Pete
about
Carroll
being
guy.
cut for like 10 years now. It seems like he's like CJ McCollum. Like, when are we gonna trade him? Let's trade him. Let's cut him.
So it's really building, you know, their own culture. You know, with the new guys that they have with McDonald and Snyder, starting to move on from that Pete Carroll era, and that's part of it. I just don't like that it was a year late, and I'm skeptical of Sam Darnold. You know, shut me up. Do it a second season. I'll shut up. I'll believe it. I have a hard time trying to turn a blind eye and look at the context and the situation that Sam Darnold was in. It was with Kevin O'Connell. He had one of the best receivers, if not the best receiver.
You've been saying that since like week 8 of
and
last
it's hard.
year.
And Seattle doesn't have that. Sorry, Seattle does not have that.
I mean, Seattle doesn't have the infrastructure too, where you feel confident in a guy.
Big dreams, everything ain't what it seems. Glittering gold both ways. my team. This organic, we don't buy streams.